Hey, what's up, guys? Kaufman is Alive YouTube channel. I look at comic books new and old. Today I'm looking at a new comic book, Spawn number 355 by Image Comics. Yeah, Spawn is still going after all these years, up to issues number 355 here. It's the longest running creator owned comic going today. Although Todd McFarlane doesn't have a whole lot to do with these comics anymore, other than just kind of being the overseer. We've got Roy McConville on script here and plot. Brett Booth's on art. Adelso Corona is on inks. We got Robert Nugent on colors. Tom Orchikowski on lettering. And I got the Mark Spears cover here. We got Violator on the cover. You know, pretty interesting putting this comic up next to like an early issue of Spawn that had Violator on it. Actually, here, let me grab that real quick. Yeah, I got Spawn number 4 here. So these almost look like it's almost looking like kind of an homage in a sense. But this definitely, you see the contrast between this 90s style and this kind of stuff that we'll get today from like some computer generated coloring, which is clearly what this looks like. There's some really cool colors in here, though. There's lots of like reds and greens and purples, like making up a lot of the different colors here that blend, and it's just some really interesting stuff. Compare it to like Todd McFarlane's original style, where it's just really, really fine lines everywhere, and you don't get that at all in a piece like this. I like both of them, but they're both completely different. So, but we'll get into the story here. Like I said, Brett Booth's on the interior artwork, so we've got a cover that really's got nothing to do with what's going on in the book here, which you get a lot with Spawn comics. They kind of curate their covers to have specific artists do the entire line for a month. It's is kind of the thing that they do. So a lot of the covers just show a Spawn character, but doesn't generally have a lot to do with what's going on in the books, which would be a criticism I have of these Spawn titles, is that the covers generally don't give you an idea of what you're getting in the book. Other than that, it's a Spawn book. So, but we start off in Green World, which is this place that's trying to, have all the power in the universe, just like heaven and hell. So there's basically like three groups trying to take over the throne of hell. And back in issue 350 of Spawn, Nyx, who was working with Green World, she's the one who took over the throne of hell. So Jim Downing shows up here, and we pick up where we left off in issue 354, where Spawn was teaming with this character Lyra, and they were being hunted by these vampires. But Jim Downing shows up and is calling off the vampires. He's here to save Spawn and Lyra. And Jim Downing used to be a host of the Spawn symbiote, so... And he's gotten a big upgrade here. He's got this whole new look kind of designed by Brett Booth. And, Brett Booth is one of the original Image artists. He wasn't one of the original founders, but he joined real quick, was doing work on Wildcats, and started his own creator-owned comic in Backlash. So he was a big part of the early Image stuff. And he did issues 1 through 30 of Gunslinger Spawn, and then they moved him over to the main Spawn book here. And I picked up every issue that he's done. He's one of my favorite artists going. Obviously, he's got very much a Jim Lee style. A lot of people have accused him of aping Jim Lee's style, but, Jim Lee doesn't really draw comics anymore. So I'm all here for Brett Booth anytime he's putting out a new comic. So really awesome double splash page here. We've got the vampires who've been hunting Spawn and Lyra. We've got Reaper here, who actually drove his own axe through his chest as he's being controlled by the Dracula of this universe, whose name is Blood, Bludd. And very Image name for him, Blood. But he's mind controlling Reaper, forcing him to kill himself over and over again, essentially, until he gets it done. But Jim Downing, he says that Nyx actually made a deal with Blood for the vampires to take out all of the Spawn and Angels that are trapped on Earth, because Nyx locked all the dead zones, which were like portals between heaven and hell, into Earth, and she locked them so that no one can get through. And they're all stuck on Earth. The vampires have been hired to kill everybody stuck on Earth, but they haven't gotten the job done. It's been months. So Jim Downing explains that she's pissed, and he's here to put a stop to them and just get the job done himself. So Spawn says, Jim, you can't, because this is Jim basically turning on Spawn. And he says, you don't give orders anymore. And he just blasts Spawn away. So they teleport out of here. We get some really great pencils. Just want to look at Brett Booth's work here. I think he does a really great job. I love this face on this vampire character. He's got like dreadlocks. Really interesting designs. Brett Booth makes really cool costume designs, I feel like. This page is just so much intricate detail on all these characters. Like all the metal arms and capes flowing down here. Got Reaper's chest. He's trying to rip open his own chest. He's still under control of Blood. So Spawn asks Jim Downing if he can make a deal with him. He says, and Jim says, well, I kind of already saved your life, so... But Spawn says, you need to take Reaper with you, because as long as Reaper's here, he's going to be under control of Blood. So you have to take him back to Greenworld. And Jim doesn't want to do that, but he reluctantly agrees. And in all that, Lyra actually snuck out. So Spawn has to go find her, and he quickly does. Love this page. There's just something very... I don't know, just... This whole panel here just takes me back. Just very... very 90s style. I can't really explain it. Just looks really cool, though. So she says, why'd you take off? She says she needs time to regroup so she can take another run at Blood. And Spawn says they need to team up to try and stop Blood, which she agrees. So not much advancement there between those two. Kind of back to where we started. And then we go to this Fixer character who's been tracking them the past few issues. And he got kind of messed up in the last issue. He's working for Jason Wynn, who is trying to get this Lyra character, but now that Spawn's gotten involved, it's kind of changed things a bit. So he says, Fixer, you there? Report in. And he's like, Christ. Apologies, sir. It took a bit longer than expected. So, but Wynn says that the woman's escaped, and now that Simmons is involved, we need to recalibrate our strategy. He says, trust me, Simmons' powers aren't what make him a threat. So, which brings up something I did want to mention, is how since the events of Spawn 350, none of the Spawn characters have any of their powers, supposedly. But there is one panel in here where Spawn does talk about how, and explain that his symbiote's been unpredictable since Nyx took the throne. And that's pretty much all he said, but honestly, that's kind of all I wanted, was just a little bit of an explanation as to what is going on with the symbiote here. Because, I mean, obviously Spawn still has the symbiote, but we're being told that he doesn't have powers. But he'll still take some pretty hard hits from some characters. Like earlier, Jim blasted him with his, Hellfire powers. So, but it didn't kill Spawn or anything. And obviously he's still got the symbiote. Can he turn back into, his, can he shapeshift into Al Simmons still? I think he can, but apparently he doesn't have, his teleportation powers and just some of his other mystical powers that he gets from Hell. I kind of wish they would explain some of that a little bit more, but I do kind of like a grounded version of Spawn, though, where he's not all super powerful and he kind of just has to use his fighting ability and his weapons. I do like that aspect of this character, kind of depowering Spawn. I think is a good way to go. So we learned that these two characters are going to come and help the Fixer try and take out Lyra and Spawn, and they've been sent by Jason Wynn. So we get a nice splash page here, of a reveal of some characters that are going to show up in the next issue. A common comic trope, but I love Brett Booth draws really great female figures here, and his costume designs are pretty interesting. We've got pouches here for no reason. Gotta love that 90s aesthetic. So this is a pretty cool comic. I love the artwork in here. The story doesn't really go anywhere, and a lot of these Spawn issues, especially recently, have been super slow moving, which is one criticism I could give. But overall, I really like this issue. I love Brett Booth's artwork. I love the coloring. So got to give this a recommendation, and thanks for watching the video. Hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you on the next one.